Well, there, guys, you're in today with Jake Moore, senior auctioneer at Cooley's Auctions. Jake is an extremely experienced auctioneer. You've done thousands of auctions over the years, from under $1 million right up to $30 million. What's it like to get up there in front of dozens or maybe hundreds of highly emotional, highly strung, anxious people about to make the biggest decision of their life? What's it like to perform in front of those people?
I think those classic auctions are the ones that you see on the block or you see in the street, where they are literally at fever pitch, those auctions where you kind of have them in the palm of your hand. And as much as it is about pushing the price forward, that it is obviously pushing momentum forward, there is and as an experienced auctioneer now, I think there's a big difference between allowing people time to think, allowing them to actually confer with the people who matter.
So is it about reading the room and having eyes on every single bidder or potential bidder and just gauging what the pace of those people is?
Doing this for a long time, you get a good idea of how reading people's body language, how they react to certain questions because it is a stressful environment. They might not give you the answer exactly that you're looking for. Do you need more time? They won't answer you exactly. However, over the years, you've kind of seen how people react to certain questions you can ask, or certain things. We may grab the gavel and start calling it through 3 times. That's 10 hours from your head to us, and how they actually react, and how they actually react to what you're doing, and whether you need to even push harder or whether you need to take a step back and actually. If you feel like they are going to go, but they need more time, that's what you need to do, rather than rush them through and perhaps even sell the property, where if they had that little bit more time, that other bidder would have jumped in.
So it's true. I mean, you've got to be a master psychologist and call an auction well. Is that fair to say?
Look, I've got no degree, but a lot of practical experience.
Yeah. So if there's a room of, say, 50 to 100 people and you've got a dozen bidders out there, do you really feel like you've got eyes and you kind of are anticipating and seeing where most or all of those bidders are at?
Yeah, you kind of gauge a little bit where, number one, of who's bidding. So they're the first people that you tend to gravitate towards. The people who are bidding, that's who you're looking at.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know a lot of the buyer's agents. We work closely with buyer's agents as well. So there's always times where if I see you in the crowd and I know you've got a bidding paddle, then I'll always look to you and I can call you out by name.
It's always nice to be known.
Yeah. So, there is times where if someone hasn't bid, but I feel like, or even the agent may have even pointed them out and said, look, this person's been back 7 times.
Yeah.
I feel like they're my strongest buyer.
So will an agent in fact come up to you maybe before or during the auction, actually identify who the really hot buyers are?
Yeah.
Who you should be targeting in a way, I guess?
Look a little bit, but it also may be of how good and how, if you address them, if you might indicate if you're looking for a bid from them and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
It also might be their strategy. People always have different strategies at auctions, and whether they come in really hard and fast, whether they wait until the end to try and pinch it right at the last bid and break someone's heart. There is a lot of different scenarios. I guess that's just why every auction is different.
Yeah.
You could auction 2 units identically that are next to each other.
And they go completely different ways.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So let's come back to this strategy thing. Like, what strategies do you see time and time again working, or having a greater degree of success of working?
Yeah. I mean, the best answer is obviously, a lot of people say there's no strategy, it's just who has the most amount of money.
Yeah.
There is a case that sometimes isn't the case, where bidding strategies will put people off.
Yeah.
Number one, I just want to firstly and say, whether there's 10 people registered, 1 person registered, the best strategy is just to bid. Now, I'm not saying that just, to obviously get something started, but you also have to put yourself in the owner's shoe.
Yeah.
The owner is either sitting in their bedroom at the front of the house or in the back of the auction room. Yeah. They are so nervous.
They're as nervous as the bidders.
Exactly right. So the fact that there's nothing more disheartening than when no one bids. When they do have registered bidders, and perhaps even people have made contract changes, and maybe people's strategy is that we're not going to bid, we're going to try and buy it after.
Yes.
The mentality of a vendor to when someone tries that strategy, they shell up, they almost get their defenses up.
Wow.
And
so it reduces their chances of buying it, even if it does get passed in, and buying it after it gets passed.
At a price that they might even be willing to sell it for. I've seen time and time again where a vendor is ready to sell it for a certain price.
Yep.
It then gets passed in, and potentially they offer, a buyer might offer close to that price. The fact that buyer felt the fact that seller felt almost offended that no one bid, they clam up. They might even raise their price as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't be douche during the auction, but the seller's there watching you. That's a good tip.
That's the first tip. The other tip would be there are always strategies. A strategy that I tell family and friends and anyone who want to ask, if you've got an auctioneer and they're asking me for a start of 800,000, I don't mind. Be a bit cheeky. Give me 790.
Yeah.
Give me 10 grand less.
Yeah.
Now, in the sense of that, me as an auctioneer on how I would do it, I might do things a little bit differently. I'll obviously accept that bid.
Yeah.
However, if you're working with a less experienced auctioneer, you now almost have the power of how you've controlled your bid increments. Gotcha. If that auction, so what I just to explain it as, if you start in the bid at 800,000, the auctioneer can then ask to go in 25,000 increments and go in quarters quite quickly.
Yeah.
If you start the auction at
$7,000.
1090,
Yeah, very clever.
an inexperienced auctioneer won't want to do the mathematics of $25,000 bids.
Yeah.
They'll just try and round you up to 800,000. They've now set a precedent that you're happy to accept in $10,000 bid.
Very clever. That's a good one. Like that one. Just learning stuff here. Yeah, fantastic. And so I know a lot of bidders or would-be bidders, they just don't want to enter the fray. So you've given a great suggestion there to just starting on your terms.
Yeah, I think starting on your terms. Look, I understand everyone has a number of what they want to do. And I think we're going to touch on this as well, is that I think you should always have a buyer should have 3 numbers.
I love this idea. Talk me through this.
So how I say it is that there's obviously a number of the dream. I know it has 3 prices as well, but the buyer is the dream price and what you would buy it for. Yeah. If you bought that you would be so over the moon and you always can't believe that you bought it for that. That's the first price. The second price is what you think real market value would be. And the last price is that it's a price that you're willing to pay. You're not happy, but you had to pay it to secure it. So whenever we talk about starting auctions, obviously the agent has a guide. I understand that all agents give different guides, and there's always the thing of underquoting or overquoting or whatnot. But everyone has a figure in their head, and as long as it's reasonably around where that guide price has been, the auctioneer and agent should accept that opening bid as long as it's close enough.
Gotcha. Fantastic. That's great advice. So going on your own terms, having 3 numbers, you're almost setting yourself up for a success, because if you commit to one of those 3 numbers, you're probably going to walk away with the trophy.
Yeah.
Unless there's maybe not probably, but increase your chance.
You're going to, absolutely, you'll increase your chances. The last thing I will say, and obviously best case scenario is that, the property gets put on the market and it gets knocked down to you.
Yeah.
The last thing I will say is that if you do bid, now, it's maybe the language that you hear us auctioneers say of the first right of refusal. Now, this is what people ask me, is that this is not a law. If we pass it into the highest bidder, it's not a law that we only can negotiate with you.
Yeah.
But like I said, the owners will always look favourably upon people who do bid, and obviously the highest bidder, because at the auction, they bid to their highest. Now, if there is room to negotiate, we can obviously do that straight after, but you're going to be at a much more better position to start that negotiation if you come in as...
So let put yourself at the head of the pack. And just say you literally, in the eyes of the vendor, are viewed the most favourably and aren't that guy who's just been lowballing or, not even participating, think they can go into the last minute and start a conversation.
Well, that's obviously the mentality as well of the strategy of not bidding and waiting for it to pass in. You're only to a vendor who is in that situation, the only reason someone would do that is to potentially think that, well, I'm going to pick this up a much cheaper after auction, where in general fact that it's usually less likely going to happen, that you're probably not only not going to potentially buy it for less money, but you're probably not going to buy it at all because those defences are going to be up.
Yeah, gotcha. Awesome. Mate, great stuff today, Jake. Thanks so much. I'm looking forward to, but kind of not looking forward to seeing you in the next auction. But thanks for your time today.
That's why I have a hammer.